Boeing is in huge trouble. The company has been in the news for some crazy reasons. From dropping revenues to innovation problems, it seems to be screwed and needs a savior. With United Airlines as one of its biggest customers, Boeing will need them as their savior from potential disaster. So why is Boeing in huge trouble? And more importantly, will United be able to save the manufacturing giant? The decade began barely 2 years ago, and everyone patiently waited for Boeing to make the long-anticipated announcement. Will there be a new airplane? What are the key features to look out for? The truth is, the commercial aircraft business is brutal. The cost of producing and certifying a new airline is backbreaking. Although their Boeing 747 plane was a huge success, the market dynamics have changed. Due to this, the company announced it would not develop another plane to replace the 767 and 757. Analysts say this decision would give Airbus an edge over its greatest competitor. However, the company has admitted that the engine is not ready to support the development of a new airliner, but will improve the 737 and 787 versions. While this sounds like the best decision for the management, it has its downsides. As an airline looking to make a profit, it is only natural to manufacture more plane options. Airbus, for instance, is famous for its history of new product development. This means they could fill the gap Boeing is waiting too long to fill, and thus Airbus might take over the market. Experts have been uncomfortable with this decision, but Boeing Chief Executive Officer David Calhoun has said that the company wants to produce a groundbreaking new version rather than a rush-through plane desperate to fill a gap.
We won't contemplate a new airplane. We won't even put it on the drawing board until we know we're capable of doing that. But this thing is, I don't think we're going to even get to the drawing board this decade.
He explained that carbon emissions and fuel reduction are key issues needed to be tackled by the airline. While the company brainstorms on ways to bring top-notch innovation into the market, it also has bigger problems to worry about, which might create huge trouble for Boeing. Starting from 2021, the company has been in financial decline. The company reported a $3.3 billion loss in the third quarter of 2022, in comparison to a $132 million loss in 2021. To understand why Boeing is in financial trouble, we need to go over its major sources of revenue first, namely global services. This sector offers systems, platforms, and services to commercial and defense customers globally. This sector performed excellently well in the quarter as revenues went up to $4.4 billion, with their operating margins up to 16.5%. Boeing Capital, which is the sector that offers financing options to Boeing's customers, such as operating leases, notes, receivables, etc., recorded $1.6 billion. Commercial airplane deliveries, which is probably the most famous division for Boeing, as it is responsible for the development and manufacturing of commercial airplanes. And defense, space, and security. This sector comprises the R&D, manufacturing of military aircrafts and weapons. The U.S. Department of Defense is its largest customer. Revenue for this department dropped to $5.3 billion, which means the company lost $2.8 billion due to fixed-price contracts. This breakdown proves that the financial woes largely came from the defense division, and it turns out Trump's Air Force One deal is a huge reason for this. The Trump administration negotiated the contract to build 2 planes for the next Air Force One, but Boeing became responsible for the costs years later. The company has regretted this arrangement, saying it exposed them to a risk that should have been avoided, and thus it made Boeing lose a whopping $766 million, making it a total of $1.9 billion loss since its commencement. Aside from this, the company also has a lot to do internally for its profit to rise again. One such issue that must be solved is Boeing's stock price. It dropped by 29% year over year, which has become alarming. Investors are scared, but the company has not given up on the hope of bouncing back financially. In a 2-day investor event organized by Boeing, the CEO promised to bring in $10 billion cash annually by 2025 to improve operations and compensate for the losses. This made investors hope that these and many more strategies will help the company manage its $57 billion debt load. While Boeing struggles to fix its financial woes, it also experienced a huge issue regarding their planes, which may end up destroying their brand value. A while ago, operators of the 787 Dreamliner jets noticed paint peeling issues on the plane's wing and horizontal stabilizer occasioned by ultraviolet radiation exposure. Although the company argued that it was a harmless problem, passengers were scared that the affected areas are covered with speed tape. Therefore, they took snapshots of it and posted them online. As a result, this plane manufacturing giant approached the Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, to approve its plane to incorporate a layer of ultraviolet blocking black topcoat between the white topcoat and primer. Along with this, They also asked the regulatory body to approve other design changes, like cap Cs over the nuts of some 787 wing skin fasteners, since certain combinations can lead to ignition sources in the fuel tank. While Boeing is waiting for the FAA's decision, as of this recording, and dealing with other major issues as well, they are still not shunned by this. Sure, no jet manufacturer would be satisfied with the existing situation, but Boeing always believed that it could re-emerge as the great manufacturer it once was, and little did they know, their dire situation was about to change. United Airlines will be a messiah in the coming years for Boeing as it's one of the biggest customers. United has assured investors that there will be no cause for alarm, as it is committed to deliver a strong balance sheet and a debt reduction plan every year. The airplane has revealed plans to hire over 15,000 new employees starting from 2022-2023, and more importantly, plans to significantly invest in their fleet to boost profits and somehow even help the manufacturer of its financial quagmire.
Boeing is our largest manufacturer, largest exporter, high-tech manufacturing jobs, the very kinds of great careers we're trying to onshore and bring back to this country.
United has taken certain steps and is now ready to accommodate new planes and increase profit. The company has added 7 new transatlantic routes despite the economic situation in the US and Europe, thereby increasing the airline's transatlantic capacity by about 30%. It will add Malaga, Dubai, and Stockholm to its map while adding 4 new routes to Berlin, Rome, Shannon, and Barcelona. These new routes suggest a need to procure more planes, and that's where Boeing comes in. The Chicago-based airline announced a plan to order 200 planes worth $43 billion from Boeing. The planes will be delivered between 2024 and 2027. United's hope for these orders is hinged on the rising demand for long-haul travel and a desire to replace older planes. Analysts have claimed that the new plane orders will increase United's capital expenditure to $20 billion over the next 2 years and $50 billion by 2032 after 700 new aircraft deliveries. But this doesn't just help United. Boeing also has every reason to smile as the order promises light at the end of the tunnel. As we discussed before, it has been tough for the manufacturing giant. Along with that, after the 737 MAX crash, the company received negative attention and criticism from Congress and the FAA. This even forced them to lay off some workers in the finance and accounting departments. But with the order from United Airlines, it can change Boeing's future for good, as it will make them busy for many years to come. Investors are now smiling because this huge order means a steady flow of business and lots of profit in the coming years. While experts have said only time will tell how this news will affect both companies in the long run, this announcement still became a huge deal for both Boeing and United Airlines, as the stock market favored them since this announcement. But while Boeing got used to the new hope beamed on them by United Airlines, it still had to retain its best hands, which turns out they couldn't, as they failed miserably, and thus putting the company once again in jeopardy. Starting from November 2022, hundreds of experienced Seattle area Boeing engineers suddenly bid the company goodbye. The company's white-collar union said over 130 technical staff and 500 experienced engineers retired after realizing they'd suffer a significant cut to their pension if they stayed longer. Although this massive retirement is not unique to Boeing, it portends an experience gap to the jetmaker. This setback has prompted the company to postpone the launch of a new plane to the end of the decade. To mitigate the effects of this loss, Boeing even identified 26 key engineers represented by its white-collar union and offered them mouth-watering deals to stay. Each was offered about $400,000 worth of Boeing stock. But unfortunately, only 9 accepted the offer, while the others insisted on leaving. But, as you may expect, a manufacturing giant like Boeing wouldn't let these experts leave without an alternative. Lynn Hopper, Boeing's vice president, announced that the company has started to hire engineers at a strong clip. She confirmed that the company is working on a model that will ensure that new hires gain experience quickly and to use the present talents they have for future inventions. But, given the fierce rivalry with other manufacturing giants, Airbus, that might not be enough to compete. With all that happened with Boeing in the past, it is fair to say that they must become more creative with their approach. Therefore, the company has intended to bounce back within the shortest time by implementing some key strategies. But what are they? Boeing's Indiana Engineering and Technology Center has about 4,000 employees, out of which 3,000 are engineers. This figure is expected to rise by 25%, given the increase in demand for their products. Thus, Boeing has announced its plans to build a new R&D facility in Bangalore, India's technology hub. This facility will house thousands of engineers and other technical staff in key research areas. The center will focus on eVTOLs and vehicles achieving Boeing's sustainability goal of hitting net zero emissions by 2050. The world awaits the outcome of this latest invention, as there's no timeline for the opening of the research facility. But while it may seem that Boeing finally found solutions to all of its problems, that may not be the case, as the FAA is giving them huge problems too. Have you seen what they finally decided to do with Boeing? The FAA is taking certain steps against Boeing, which can force them to stop production of a major aircraft permanently. That can harm Boeing in a major way and ultimately even destroy them. But what are these certain steps that are being taken against Boeing? And more importantly, why is the FAA doing this? I know you want to hear more about this, so just click this video right here.